in life, no matter what you do, you're going to face obstacles. And we knew coming into this homestead that we were going to have challenges, ongoing challenges all the time. Now, sometimes when you watch videos on YouTube, you look at homesteading and you see all these people out with their animals and you think of this glamorous life. You know, you're out there in the country and you're, helping your animals, milking and feeding these chickens and letting everything go out on pasture, and it just seems so grand. But I knew, and we knew before moving into this property, that it was going to be a lot more work than we're used to. And we also knew that having more roof to maintain would be more costly. And so today, I just want to run through some of the obstacles that we've already faced. Definitely not all of them. You wouldn't believe some of the things we had to go through to just get this property. But I want to go through some of the obstacles, just show you some of the issues that we've had on the homestead. So we moved into this property in the winter time, and we knew that coming in during this time that right now is planning time. This is when we're planning things out. This is a progress, and we don't want to jump into things really fast because we know that would be bad. But one thing that we're not prepared for was when the first snow hit. The first snow that hit us was so heavy and so hard that my chickens literally got buried. We did not have a good shelter prepared for the chickens. And so I thought it was a bright idea to take hay from our hayloft and put it down as bedding. And it worked. It worked out great. But what people don't tell you when you put down hay for bedding is that it stinks. I mean, it just smells so bad. We were able to get a dump load of wood chips dropped off, and those wood chips are still out in the shed. I put those out in the shed to have deep bedding for these chickens, and it worked out amazing. These chickens are having a great time digging in there. Sometimes I come in there and there's all these like potholes basically that they've dug, and it's worked out great. But man, I've realized that we definitely need to upgrade our indoor facilities where we live if we're going to be having a ton of chickens. So another thing that we've had issues with is our gas well. Now that's pretty amazing. You get free gas, right? Well, I can tell you right now that nothing in life is free and nothing in life comes without challenges. And this gas well has been super challenging, to say the least, especially in the cold weather, dragging a brand new battery and a dead battery back and forth on a sled with my girls. And it was just so many trips walking out there and trying to figure out what was wrong with it. And I'm so thankful that after having multiple people look at it, that my brother finally figured it out. There was an electrical issue and it was able to be solved. And so thankful, even today, as I'm talking about this, we could not get it to start and had to buy a new spark plug for it. And thankfully those things weren't as costly as it could be. We also ended up with our first casualty on the farm. So I have rabbits and they're not in the cages that I would like them to be in. And with the cold weather, I had them outside and they're okay in the cold, but I put a tarp on them and so they don't get the wind chill and everything. Well, we had some animals that tipped over the hutch and were trying to get in. And we ended up losing one of our rabbits. And that this is another thing that you have to learn when you're on a homestead, or a farm, or anywhere that you're trying to take care of animals. You got to think about possible predators. They could be anything. They could be hawks in the air, they could be coyotes, they could even be neighbors' dogs, they could be anything. And so you need to take all things into consideration when you are taking care of animals, especially outside. We're hoping to have new cages, and the rabbits will be indoors most of the time. And we're looking into electric fencing as well. And that's just something everybody has to do and everybody has to consider whenever they're living like this. Another thing that we're trying to do here is create a wood shop where we're going to be building a lot of farm related equipment and things, nesting boxes, chickshaws, stuff like that. We want to build here on the homestead. And we want to sell things too to people that are local, and maybe even come up with our own designs of things that we find automate processes and stuff for people. And so it's winter time, and as you can see behind me, all of this up here in the hayloft is open, and it's because the wood has shrank. Over here, actually, I had some snow coming in, and you know, this wood, you really don't want to get wet. And so that's something we got to think about and take care of. But I ended up getting a torpedo heater to heat the barn, and I've never owned one before. Well, after doing all my research and everything like that on torpedo heaters, I decided to go with propane instead of kerosene or diesel or anything like that, because it's a cleaner burning fuel. What I did not think about is the fact that I have a 25-gallon tank pulling on something that's trying to shoot out over 100 and something thousand BTUs. So what happened was the propane tank froze up, and so did the pressure regulator on it. And it was basically, it just smelled like it's blowing fumes into the air. And so I was getting ready to return this thing until I figured out, by doing some online research, that the way that the gases work and stuff, it was just pulling too much out, and it was trying to turn into liquid form or whatnot too fast, and that was what's causing that. So what I end up doing is chaining two tanks together, and that way I'm pulling from two tanks at the same time, and that seems to have solved the issue. As I'm sitting here making this video, I start thinking about all these obstacles that I'm starting to share with you guys, and I have to pause for just one moment because we've had so many blessings, and my house, as many issues as I've had with that gas well, my house still has heat. And even though the chickens were buried, they're now in a nice warm shed with a heat lamp on. And I'm getting more eggs than I originally was when the cold first hit. And, you know, I could keep going on and on, but this is not a woe is me video. I guess my intent was to just show some of the obstacles and things that you face, even things you don't think about. Like when we first moved in, we didn't have a mailbox, or, you know, so I had to cut some wood, and it was very easy to do, but I had to figure out how to put a mailbox up. I'm creating a farmhouse council table, and the wood that I keep putting on it is all warped, even when I buy brand new wood, and starting to figure out where I really should be getting my wood from. And, you know, these things you don't think about. And, you have to, whenever you're trying something new, you're gonna face obstacles. I guess, you know, there's this great saying in a Rocky Balboa movie where it's not about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. And I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get through, is if you really want something bad enough, you're gonna overcome those obstacles. And if I was to make a video on all the blessings that we've had, it'd be way longer than this one, I can tell you that. I've had family, friends, neighbors, come over here and help me, whether it be plowing, looking at gas lines, helping with electrical issues. And it's just been amazing. And so community, and that is what we want to build and achieve. And so come along with us for the ride. Thank you. God bless.